We are live, guys. Hey, guys, welcome to episode 32 of the weekly. Sorry, we started a little later than usual, but welcome to the show. And we have a few things to cover. Again, this week, there is no uselessness. Unless you guys have one, please definitely leave them down below.
Well,
But,
I was kind of curious, and we don't. I mean, this isn't like a proper uselessness, but
I mean,
your
wait a
guys'
minute. I asked you beforehand if it's uselessness. You didn't say
no, no,
anything.
no. I'm literally like pulling this up right now. I'm making this up in the moment. This is live. I'm going rogue. I apologize. But I was kind of curious because this week we spent a lot of time in the news outside of like gadgets and tech and stuff talking about Facebook and their relationship with the Russian ads that were being served during the 2016 election. And that Zuckerberg was kind of involved in this conversation a little more publicly, especially as this investigation has started digging into other entities. There's rumors that we might see Reddit investigated by government agencies over just the
I wouldn't be
platforms that
surprised.
they
Yeah.
have.
r/the Donald, yes.
I mean that we're really bad at proactively trying to figure out what a protocol should be. But then when something blows up in our face, that's when we actually take the time to pay attention to it and try and figure out what we should do. I think one of the things that's bothered me are political ads, or when money is spent hyping a political message on TV and radio, you always have to hear who was that ad from.
Yeah.
And it's not something that happens on Facebook. I was wondering if you guys just had any thoughts, just because this has been in the public consciousness over the last week again.
I mean, it definitely is interesting. I think one of the things that I got from it, I haven't read a lot of the details, but Facebook and Zuckerberg, at least Facebook themselves realized that they was a gaming of their own iPhone. See, why I hate the iPhone, man. I put this thing on mute and it's still.
Oh, wait till I get to a rant on that. That video's coming. Oh
Anyway,
man, that video's coming.
But the thing is, this is that they now realize that somebody gamed their own system. And it's not even just who their ads are from, it's also how these things were done. But to me, this goes back to a bunch. It's a bunch of things here because look, yes, there were a lot of fake news ads. There's a lot of, you could say, Russian interference and all that. At the end of the day, I always say, masses are asses. I will always go back to that because at some level there is a personal responsibility for you to pay attention to where your information is coming from. No. I'm just saying.
I really can't think you can say masses are asses because these ads were designed to deceive even well-intentioned people.
No, I get
knew better.
I get that. I said you always should check your sources. Ads can be deceiving. We know that quite well.
You're getting bombarded by these things that pop on Facebook ever so often. You're not going to research every single thing.
No, I'm not saying you research everything. Look, no, I understand that aspect, but again, look, I'm not. I agree that Facebook has.
I'm just playing devil's advocate, but
I agree,
and I totally agree with you 100%. People should research.
So there's a split, right? I would say there's a 30% onus on individuals to understand what you're looking at, and then there's also that onus of Facebook to say, like you were saying, Juan, where is this ad coming from, right? Who's sponsoring?
Because that, I mean, for both of you, for both of you, this is one of the things that I find really disingenuous about Zuckerberg's response, which he published was on Wednesday. Because again, Trump posted a mean tweet about Facebook. And so Zuckerberg says, I'm taking just a very small paragraph out of a very large write-up, which you can read if you guys want. But Zuckerberg says, Trump says Facebook is against him. Liberals say we helped Trump. Both sides are upset about ideas and content they don't like. That's what running a platform for all ideas looks like. But my problem is that you're not running a platform for all ideas. You're running a platform to cultivate information for each specific user so they stay on your site as long as possible. You're not exposing people to content they might disagree with. I mean, at the granular level, at the level that matters, the eyeballs on the screen, you're not playing that game. This isn't something noble and altruistic that you've built. You've built something to monetize, and the best way to do that is to outrage people and to keep them on scrolling and clicking through every article that they can.
No, I think Facebook definitely was the bigger story. I think Michael sorry, Wahlberg. I was about to say Walkerberg. I'm like, what?
Mark Wahlberg
was he did somewhat of a mea culpa, and at least he acknowledged it, right? He kind of walked back statements he made before the 2016 election that basically someone's Facebook wasn't going to change the way they were going to vote or something towards that, something towards that end. But what really gets me is the reaction to Twitter when Twitter came out and generally said, oh, guess what? This 200 plus, Russian bots or ad buys that we saw on Facebook also had an impact on Twitter. And what's his name? The senator came out. Oh, the representative Adam Schiff came out and basically just said, yeah, that's not how you do an investigation like this. Okay, you actually go and you find your own information and come out and say this is what happened. You just go, oh yeah, we too, yeah, well, like what Facebook did. Yeah, we agree with Facebook. Now, so he came out and he said it was highly inadequate, and I think he also said something like it seemed as though Twitter did not understand the impact of this investigation, and I think that's what really the public should pay attention to. The fact that a multinational is being accused of not understanding the impact of your social platform on an electoral process. The fact
I think they do. I think they just want to actually combine it on Facebook rather than on themselves.
Well, the way they performed this investigation before this Senate judiciary hearing, you don't go into those things unprepared because you can really get into a lot of trouble.
I mean, yeah, true.
So I think these guys really did not understand what the implications were. And I think the public, too, don't understand what the implications are when you retweet a story that looks interesting but is wrong. When you accuse someone of burning an American flag in a locker room when that's not really the fact. The implications this thing had because someone out there is going to take a gun and walk into a pizza place and go look for child molesters.
In a basement that doesn't exist,
which has happened.
This is exactly the kind of things where it's like, oh, it's fun and it's funny, ha 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 ha, ha until someone acts on it.
No, true.
I think everyone should realize that a simple retweet in this day and age basically makes you culpable, responsible.
No, I definitely agree. But that's the point of saying
a whole new definition of like etiquette.
Yeah, that's
the learned it. We're still monkeys with sticks. Like we need to actually start addressing this stuff at more than just it's the funny thing what the kids might be doing on the internet. This is now an incredible force for driving public policy. Again, like when people were saying about increasing the length of tweets, but then complaining about not having an edit button. Unfortunately, Twitter has become a platform for public record. You can't let someone like Trump is already a megalomaniac when it comes to deleting information that he's disseminated in the past. What would it look like if we let him change his public statements, his public record?
I don't
know why everybody was getting mad at Twitter.
No, I would support
the character thing.
I would support an edit button. I prefer an edit over 280.
What is this platform? Is this platform a micro blogging service? Then I agree with you. Unfortunately, it's become a news dissemination. Like in the moment.
If you're able to edit on Facebook what you post, regardless if it's on a page or on a personal profile, you should be able to do the same thing on Twitter as well too. I mean, it's going to keep the record of the edit regardless.
I know what you mean. But
I
want your edit and your tweet should still remain publicly visible.
I think, so if you click on the asterisk for an
edit, when you double click, you get the real one, right? Original. Right. And then the edit just stays up. So if you double click, you can see, well, it's not gone. It's still there.
Well, my whole thing
that I agree with.
I still don't understand when people complain about 280 characters. People are upset that Twitter increased this. I'm sitting there like, that is double the characters for roasting people. Do you not understand how much better roasting is going to get now with 280 characters? I don't see a problem with this. I think it's a great idea. This is let Black Twitter gets a hold of that.
All right.
things.
All
So
right,
I
let's
didn't
get the show on the road.
to be quite as long in discussion, but like this topic is it's such a minefield. I'm kind of
Seriously is.
Oh, but here's the best answer for all this, according to Secondhand Joe. The answer: less government regulation, let businesses decide the best course. Sarcasm.
Yeah, we thought that 20 years ago. See how well that worked out.
I mean,
All
like
right,
even like NPR outlets are talking about, do we need to enact antitrust regulation against companies like Facebook? I mean, that was a big deal for because older radio style media has been so behind the curve on dealing with digital tech geeky things that now they're like, oh, wait a minute, this might be a problem. You're like, no shit, we've been trying to tell you.
Where have you been? Like, where have you been?
It's going to be an interesting time how all these things play out. Like you said, we are behind the curve. People forget that this. Think about it, even for our perspective. Take away politics and government. We are influencers, right? Whatever we post, whatever we retweet, someone's going to like, retweet, share that information. So we ourselves have to be very careful. The problem is that regular individuals have to understand that they too are culpable on some level, because if they retweet something that's from us that's also false or it has misinformation, they now fall into that trap, and more people and more people, basically it just goes down the line, the chain. So everyone has, like you're right, Juan, everyone has to understand that they own some level of responsibility in what kind of information they share out there and they put out there. Sometimes, it's better when you see that information, share with a friend privately.
Yeah,
and then,
I mean, again, that what you're talking about is something that we've never really had a cultural discussion about, and that's etiquette. You used to go in school and learn about like manners and what fork to eat with first, and like those things used to be a part
our
of
grandparents did.
a part of an education. Not us. I mean, when I say you, I don't mean us specifically. We missed those discussions. I always feel like an idiot when I'm in like an actual like white linen dining affair.
Oh no, just outside in. Just remember that.
It's still like oh, I put my elbows on the table. Oh no.
It's very simple. Watch Downton Abbey. You'd be fine.
Yeah, that's just in general. It's a terrifically produced television program. But again, we need to start introducing these concepts, I think, in a similar fashion where, like, should you send that dick pic? On the flow chart, I don't see any outcome where it works for you. So how about you don't send the dick pic? That I think is going to be a very primary conversation that we need to start having with people over the successive generations.
Yeah. All right. Let's move on to news topics of the week. First one is Pixel and Pixel 2. More details. The event is October 4th. We have rumblings that the device is going to be launching pretty quick, in about a week or so. So it looks like Google is ready to go with the update to the Pixel. And we have a couple of things to note. So the Pixel 2 will be made by, it looks like it's going to be made by the Pixel team, aka HTC stolen bunch of geniuses over at Google now. And the
stolen, bought and paid for.
Sorry, bought and paid for. Thank you very much. And the Pixel XL will be made by LG. So basically, I would say the V30 in a Pixel shell, so to speak. We're looking at choices of 64 gigabytes and 128. You're going to have unlimited Google Cloud storage. It says until 2023. Not exactly sure why there's a specific date that far out, but whatever. Single camera will have OIS this time. The battery for the larger Pixel will be 3520 milliamps. And it's going to have squeezy.
They're confirming the squeezable thing again. Gimmick.
Hands together and just squeeze the. Sorry, 80s cartoons. Yeah.
That was just bad all around.
I know. But what do you guys think? And also, it was going to have IP67 water resistance and, of course, dust resistance. Gorilla Glass 5, QHD display with white color.
Glory Glass?
Gorilla. Sorry, I said.
Oh. It's like
that was a very different kind of show.
Yeah.
Wow.
Let's never go there. Anyway, guys, what do you think about what you're hearing from the Pixel 2 and Pixel 2 XL? Warren.
Hold on, I'm talking in the chat. Hold on. Come back to me.
All right.
Got a copy of the chat.
Sam.
It looks as though this time around they're trying to make it a more current phone at the time it comes out, because the last phone had some setbacks for a phone that was released last year. I think it did it have OIS on there?
No, I mean, but it still had
only software processing and stabilization.
It didn't have I think waterproofing either.
No,
and it didn't have a fingerprint scanner, did it?
It did. I mean, it didn't have all the lifestyle features that you.
Yeah. Exactly. So it's like last year was like, okay, this phone is maybe a year or two behind, but it looks good. Now it's like, okay, it looks good because the design seems pretty similar to what they had last year, and it's pretty current offering. So hopefully it does well. If this is what the future of vanilla Google phones will be, or vanilla Android phones would be, it's not bad at all. I still like the black.
Is the Pixel a vanilla Android phone? Is it?
I don't think it is anymore.
Is it? Not with that Pixel UI on top. They created their own damn skin. They technically skinned their own operating system.
Oh my god, dude! I didn't even realize that they skinned the Pixel.
Yeah. They technically did.
I mean, you can get the Pixel UI.
It's not AOSP, that's for damn sure.
Juan, what do you think, Mr. Wayland?
So I am a little concerned about the direction that Google is taking their flagship line. Squeezing is a useless gesture. I can't for the life of me understand why that's becoming something that they're actually dedicating space to on a Google first platform. The designs of the phones, just like we mentioned, because we talked about this a little last week too, didn't we? The two-tone
2 weeks ago.
And yeah, and I'm still not on board.
It's fugly, man.
I don't don't like it.
Fugly?
Yeah.
It's not that fugly.
What would that?
The fact that you even went with
just the fact
it's
that
not
you just said
fugly.
that means that there is a quantity of fugliness to this phone.
No, but what I mean by
that's fugly.
No, but you guys, I think it's gonna look better once it's in hand, when it's not rendered photos.
I completely agree.
Because that's kind of how the first Pixel looked. We was like, what is this crap? And then when you get it in your hand, it looked a whole lot better than what it was.
I completely agree. But after I got the Pixel XL in my hands, I was still of the opinion that this was not a very nice looking phone. It's a very odd design mashup between glass and the satin finish back. And they're going to be getting the aspect ratio.
It's fine. You can
modern
understand.
current.
You have to understand who's this targeted towards. What's this phone targeted towards? Who is this phone for?
If this phone were really being launched and targeted at consumers, and we've got HTC's manufacturing acumen on board, I would have wanted to see something more like the Solar Red U11. I want to see something bold. I want to see something aggressive, and I want to see something that really does look like the shiny, pretty phone that Google is trying to build this as.
No, that's not what this phone is geared towards. The Pixel phone, their whole idea behind this, the sign,
you're listening,
it's an iPhone for Android users. That's
what then the design should be on point, not this shit.
Dude, I hope not.
And how exciting and bold and different looking is the iPhones? How?
No,
they're not.
They're fighting the iPhone 10 this year. That actually is a radical redesign for the iPhone.
But is the color any different? It's all glass black versus at least
but the iPhone does not have a two-tone back that looks like a hot mess.
But that's why
at least they're trying something different.
Yeah,
at least they're trying something different.
I would hope this is not Google's attempt at the iPhone.
No, it is Google's attempt at the iPhone.
It is.
Because
that's why it's also damn
down to the non-upgradable storage.
That's why it's also damn well. That's why.
When you gauge it in that way, then the design gets a little questionable. Because it's like, nah, this is not a design that you release to go up against the iPhone.
Yeah, it's not.
Yeah.
No.
Okay, so you guys totally changed my idea on liking the whole design now. Thank you.
But what I'm saying is this plain, simple, basic two-tone look the idea is for that audience to get that type of phone. It's not made for this dramatic, a dramatically better look than it should be, but it's not horribly bad. Like you guys make it sound like it's the worst design in
No,
modern
but
history.
the reason why
No,
the reason
when you
why I've
call
got those
something fugly,
concerns-
when you call something
It
fugly,
is.
you're
It's totally
basically
fugly.
saying it is the worst design looking thing out there.
So for
Yes,
me,
It's not a fugly
yes,
phone.
yes.
It's not a
the
fugly
Pixel
phone.
is the
Thank
phone
you
you
for
go into the
summing up
store.
in words how I feel about this. This
Yeah.
is the
The
worst
Pixel for me has always
looking
been-
flagship design of the year.
If you go into the store and you were going to pick up a phone and it wasn't an iPhone, it wasn't a flagship for any other device, and you were just going to say, "Oh, I want an Android phone," that's when you pick the Pixel. It's plain. It's really just plain.
No, that's what you pick. You end up pick a Galaxy.
Everyone who's having any consumer who's having that exactly any consumer who's walking into a carrier store and saying, "I don't want to buy an iPhone. What else?" is gonna walk out with a Galaxy S8.
Straight up, the design of that phone.
That's the truth.
The design of the Galaxy will make them pick it first before
this does not go against
any feature whatsoever
properly.
They will go, "Ooh, it looks nice. Ooh, yeah, thank you, Samsung."
Yeah.
You're like, "What is? Okay."
Yeah, but some people might not want that Samsung or that thing in that nature, or like TouchWiz, or like those
No,
things
no,
in
no.
that
I'm
nature.
saying before
But that's why. But they
And-
point that.
And as you go
point
through those
stuff-
diminishing returns, eventually, whenever LG decides to really start moving product, you're going to have a whole series of phones that follow a certain design aesthetic. And if we're talking about consumers, the winning design aesthetic are phones that look like the Galaxy S8. If you have a phone that strays too far from that, because Apple isn't straying far from that, LG isn't straying far from that, even to a degree, HTC hasn't strayed that far from it. They just went with mirror finish instead of like a more conservative glass back. The more you stray from that, the more it looks like your phone stands out, and not in a good way. Exactly in the way that you're saying. If Google is trying to make an Android iPhone,
Well, then
the
explain
back of the
why.
phone actively advertises that's not what you have here.
But
You
okay,
don't
then.
have an iPhone.
Then explain why they sold so well last year with pretty much the same similar design
But-
that went against what everyone else was doing last
But
year. Everyone else was doing
no
last
Galaxy
year.
Note
sell
7.
because they couldn't move product on that.
Products, yeah, and there was no Note 7. Let's just be real. Note 7 was around. Pixel will have had even a worse time ever.
I
Let's
don't know
just be
about
factual
that. I don't know
about
about
it.
that, man.
I think there's
I don't know about
absolutely an
that.
audience, and especially a remnant of Nexus fans who were
I heard-
totally on board with
I
Pixel
heard far
experiment.
more people talking about getting a Pixel or any type of Google-based phone, even when even with
Dude, hearing
far better
is one
devices,
thing.
looking
Sales
devices.
numbers are another.
Okay,
I-
all right.
I mean, I get it.
All right.
Not anecdotal evidence, it's true, but I'm just saying that the fact of the matter is that we saw how strong the Note brand was. From last year, people trying to not return this stuff, to this year,
So-
people upgrading.
But
get
Warren,
it?
I think you're right in terms of the marketing, in that Google put way more muscle in marketing the Pixel than they did with the previous generations, the most recent generations of the Nexus. So there was this climate of, we're really excited to see what an Android iPhone would be. That was the conversation that they were trying to have, but they couldn't move the product. The only carrier partner is Verizon, and I'm assuming it's only going to be Verizon again for the Pixel 2.
That's the rumbling again.
And we don't really see them out in the ecosystem. You know, it's going to take a couple years for Google to build up a consumer. The three-year hypothesis. It's going to take a couple years before consumers start taking them seriously as an alternative to Samsung. So are they going to be able to maintain that momentum with a phone that looks as tragically different from the rest of what the premium market looks like this year? And I have concerns. I'm not saying they can't, but I have concerns that in the marketplace for general consumers, they're going to look at that and they're going to shy away.
All right, let's move on to some Apple news. So we had rumblings that Apple may not have started production of the iPhone X, aka the 10, but it looks like some of those rumors are kind of true. Apple is having issues producing the Face ID modules. Basically, they're named Romeo and Juliet, and the Romeo model is having a hard time, and they're getting bad yields of that. So, which means we're going to be looking at some supply issues. So, it's going to be hard to get that iPhone 10 once October 27th rolls around, or even November 3rd when it launches. What do you guys think about this? And also, what does this say about Face ID itself as that launch period comes, down the line? It's basically, a month away. Sam. No, I thought it was Sam. So let's go with one.
No, it's okay. I can go ahead.
He's
for me, it's pretty straightforward, right? It's everyone's been saying. For me, for the last few years, I've always had the whole idea that Apple has lost their verve, lost their little something when it comes to innovation, and they finally do something with the X, which I think was pretty innovative, even with the unibrow. But the fact that they're running into so many issues kind of makes me question if Apple has lost a little something, when it comes to basically releasing features that are well thought out, well implemented, and just beautifully delivered. And this time around, to me, they failed on everything. They've had this technology for a while. They've miniaturized it great. They put it in the phone, amazing. They showcased it on stage, and now we're hearing, might not have been well executed because they can't quite get it to work and it's holding up production. It looks awful when you look at the whole device itself and you say, it's actually going to cut away from my video display screen or my video content. So it's like, this is not the Apple it's not the Apple of 10 years. This is not the celebration of an innovator 10 years later. This doesn't feel right.
Warren?
Yeah. Excuse me. Yeah, kind of echoing what Sam says with this. The fact that they're having this issue means that they rolled out this feature probably way too fast. And they just got just enough done to where they could put it out there, but haven't totally perfected it yet. It's very similar to when I can reference a Dragon Ball Z episode, the more recent one. Sam knows which one I'm going to reference.
Right.
You remember when Frieza learned how to turn the Gold Frieza? And then Goku and Vegeta said, "So did you just learn this and then come right over here?" It's like, yeah. You didn't try to practice? No. Okay. Okay. That's exactly what maybe they've done with this camera here. This it's here. We just made it, and we're gonna put it in a unibrow and all this other stuff. And I'm like, why don't you just sit on it, marinate it for a little while, not lose features, not lose security by removing Touch ID, giving people one less security option, giving people only options of 2. I didn't
even think about that. If this ID doesn't work properly and people have issues with it, they're really stuck with entering
a pin or a password. That's one of the things I knocked about it quite a bit. That seems to no one's realizing, but I'm just like, yeah, it's less secure. Maybe I should do a little bit of video on that. I don't know, but if they'd have waited a year to put this out, one, they'd have figured out how to put a damn camera in a bezel without it having to take up in the screen. Seems like HTC figured out in 2014 with the Desire Eye. I don't know. Pretty easy to figure that one out. Secondly, they would have had the on-screen fingerprint reader by then, because everyone would have had it out. So they'd have been able to have that. They could have really knocked everything into this thing and perfected this phone. Have had another year or so to release out, and then maybe they'd have had the AMOLED displays. They'd have been able to create production to push this out there and get it out there as in a proper manner. And it seems like they're really rushing this thing out, and we're already seeing where this rush out is tripping them up, because maybe they're not used to mass produce at a speed that companies like Samsung and HTC and LG can do on a whim, because that's what their businesses are. Apple doesn't have that many products in their lineup to mass produce like that.
While still fulfilling 2 other new phone launches, iPhone 7s, iPhone 6s, and iPhone SEs.
So before you continue, Juan, I want to add this, and then you guys can chime in. So we know Qualcomm has to stick. I want to bring in this because they have this ongoing fight. And Qualcomm announced the same camera tech and said it's earmarked for the beginning of next year. aka we can do it. And even in their statement, it kind of referenced that it's not 100%, but it will come out with, you know, launch devices next year. What does that say for what, and you kind of touched on it there, Warren, for what Apple is trying to do and that rush speed? And, you know, going back to the fact that you also now have less security because you only have one option, one main security option, and then of course a pin backup. Like, how does that frame as a whole for where Apple's mindset is? Because Tim Cook has been an operations guy. This almost seems like a dig on what he supposedly can do best, you know, with the way the rumors are coming out to be for the iPhone.
No, I think this is not a Tim Cook issue, because if you look at it, just like
well, he's an operations guy.
Juan alluded to it. Yeah, I think Juan alluded to it. Look at how many products they have out there. It takes true operation acumen to actually release all these phones, manufacture all these phones.
Exactly. He's an operations guy.
He's doing a great job. It's just this time
I think he's
around,
doing a great job considering Apple's previous track records with launching new products.
Okay, I'm just putting it out there. I'm just saying that
this is a 10-year anniversary phone. It's like they had to put something out there for a 10-year anniversary phone, right? But at the end of the day,
they could have just skipped the number and called it iPhone 10.
Well, it's not even about skipping a number. They could just call it iPhone 10-year anniversary. And still
but see, that's my problem. My problem is that it's a 10-year anniversary phone. It almost feels like you didn't plan properly for your 10th anniversary.
Yeah, they plan. It seems as they planned more for the 8 and 8 Plus than they did for the anniversary edition.
I don't.
So something should have given an 8.
I think what we're looking at literally is just the Apple team bit off more than they can chew. I don't think that there was any amount of planning that really could have made these situations or these issues better. You have for as large an organization as Apple is, you actually do only have a very small cadre of designers, developers, and engineers that work at the top secret levels of Apple to execute a new product. And they're very regularly running right up to their absolute deadline to make sure that a product is, you know, exactly what they want it to be. I think it's very clear that we can see a number of compromises in the development and the release of the iPhone 10. I think ultimately for me, the true test of Apple's mettle will be if there are problems with this face scanning technology, if they're having issue with the yields on certain pieces in this phone, how many of those actually get pushed out to the consumer? Mm-hmm. That to me will be the true test. I don't think the iPhone 10 suffers much at all if there is a significant lead time on getting one. In fact, I think that actually plays into the allure of the iPhone 10. But if any significant quantity of these phones actually make it into consumers' hands with poorly technology, that is something that I feel needs to be blown up in the general media. That needs to be a significant talking
Note
point.
7 style.
I think we're all ultimately hoping that, you know, no more phones recently ship with exploding batteries.
I'm thinking more
about the level of press.
No, I'm thinking antenna.
No, that's what I mean. Yeah, absolutely. If Face Unlock actually leaves people stranded, that it doesn't function or it's not as secure, when we had an established biometric security solution with Touch ID, then that needs to be disseminated throughout the media that there is a problem with this phone. Consumer Reports style. If Consumer Reports can pull a recommendation for a Surface, they need to be a part of the conversation on iPhones that aren't functioning up to the spec that Apple delivered.
Let me just let you guys know when the iPhone 10 comes out, and if you're able to get our hands on one, I'm going to be doing a face unlock video to see if it works with my fake beard, the kernel,
but
an extra mustache.
But we've had these conversations. Apple's technology for face unlock is very compelling. This idea of contour mapping, not just taking an image of your face. Yeah. But is that really any better, more convenient, or more secure than Samsung's Iris unlocking? And we need to have those kinds of conversations. I think there's more of a target that you have to hit with the Samsung, so that's maybe a little less convenient. But we're talking about security. You know, we're talking about how well does this really lock down your phone? And
what's the statistics?
Apple has an unproven technology here.
I think the statistics is that your iris is 1 in a billion or whatever. I can't. It's really high. It's much higher number than because Apple
Like your
said
face.
than your
1 in a
face.
billion
Yeah.
for your face. Yeah.
For your face. It's about
And
one.
that recognition lock will go down. I mean, the what did they say? The statistics on that drop between family members.
Yeah.
So, you know, I loved it that they actually put up the evil Spock twin from Star Trek. But that does need to be taken into consideration. You know, there are security implications, and supposedly this is going to be more secure than a fingerprint. I think one of the things that you have a little bit more, you have a little bit more of a safety is just the safety of obscurity. Like, what finger did you train on your fingerprint sensor?
Yeah.
You know, like the
You got
difference
10.
between a thumbprint and a fingerprint. You know, if I train a thumbprint on a phone and someone's trying to unlock it with their fingerprint because they think that they might be a 1 in 50,000 match for me, that is still an extra layer of security through obscurity.
Or your big toe.
Yeah, right. Or who was it? Oh god, I don't want to bring that up. That was.
No, I saw it in somebody's
Well, the
like
real test is gonna be
Vine video where his girlfriend tried all his fingers and then he
Yeah.
woke up and he just used his toe.
The real test is going to be when the McCourty brothers get a hold of this, because
Yeah,
they're identical twins.
yeah.
So that's going to be the real test.
Forget identical twins. I'm gonna come over and just try it on Sam.
Oh, geez, you guys still on that?
Well, Microsoft thinks we're the same person.
Well, they fixed it now. It doesn't work anymore.
All we're saying is that Microsoft is super racist. That's all we're trying to say.
They think all black people look alike.
No, literally, Sam's like, "This is great. It works." I was like,
That was not cool. And I'm like, oh. No.
And like Microsoft is literally walking into this conversation saying, like, well, we're not saying that all black people look alike, but
both of you, maybe. Who knows?
Like, when light wraps around someone, your skin tone, it creates a universe of microscopic planetary asteroids that kind of looks like the human face. That's what we're saying.
you just went full on Beastie Boys right there.
Yeah, I know.
That was
All right,
poetic and delicious, and all we needed to do was join you at the end of every sentence.
All right, let's move on. ZTE has an event on the 17th, and rumor is that the the ZTE Axon M.
Are you serious?
Is going to be a foldable device, but it's actually two devices.
Hell no.
It's basically two displays, according to Evan Blass, our professional leaker who, gets it right all the time. That this device will be 6.8 inches, and it's going to be a dual display device, powered by Snapdragon 820, 4 gigs of RAM, 32 gigabytes of storage. We'll have a 3120 milliamp battery, a single camera sensor at 20 megapixels, which says can serve multiple functions on a product with this form factor. Don't know what that is. Looking at a mid-October launch at a $650 price range on AT&T, and is apparently highlighted to sustain media consumption, particularly AT&T's direct TV content. Resolution on the expanded mini tablet is 1920 by 2160. So just general thoughts on there were two devices in the past.
Why anyone would get this? You guys will have to explain that to me.
There were two devices in the past that had this kind of form factor. One was the Kyocera Echo, which is like 2011, 2010.
Yeah, 2011.
I will link to Warren's video on that. And then there is also the Sony Tab P, which is a dual screen Sony device. I don't think that ever came out in the States, but I think it came out in Japan. I also put a link for you guys in the description so you can check it out. But yeah, fire away. What do you guys think?
I don't want it.
Ooh.
Now, I was asking someone to convince me of a reason to get something like this, not why we shouldn't.
So it's
a 3DS, man. Come on.
It's not that I want someone to spell out for me, like, this is why you want this or this is why you don't. We have so many really interesting challenges befalling the mobile industry, and the foldable concept is interesting in the same way that modular phones are interesting, but I don't think they really address the concerns that consumers are having over the future of the mobile industry. Just giving me more screen doesn't change some of the problems that I have using a device with a screen. And it complicates the device. I know Samsung's rumored to be trying some sort of Note foldable gadget as well. You know, but we've gone through these other experiments. We've gone through Asus tab phones or phone tabs or phone pads or whatever they called them, and you could dock a phone into a tablet or into a laptop clamshell. Now, some of those usages are compelling on paper, but no one's flocking to that multi-screen or bigger screen kind of strategy. It doesn't really fix anything for me when I'm already got really good big screen solutions. I'm stoked for a Mate 10. The Note 8 has been surprisingly a better phone than I thought it would be. I mean, these things already exist and fulfill usage that I actually have concerns with. I don't like an over-engineered product that is a solution in search of a problem, because that's a lot to spend money on for the potential of hopefully fixing something that I don't think it really will.
Warren? Excuse me, sorry. Warren.
Remember how all this went with the Echo?
Nobody remembers. That's the
nobody remembers. We remember because we went to the launch event.
I think I still.
I don't even have a video. I don't know where my video is, man. Seriously, I checked.
You gotta have a video of that. We all have.
I don't have one. I must have just deleted it after I put it up.
Maybe you never posted it.
Maybe I did it.
Maybe you never posted a thing. I remember seeing that thing and I was like, I don't know what to do with it. And the funny thing is, the renders of that Echo, that bar between is so much bigger than what it looks like through the render. They made it look a lot smaller. It was like a big, thick bar between those two things. It just didn't make a whole lot of sense. It was like running like Android. I think it was running Ice Cream Sandwich, maybe.
Yeah, it was running. And then they had a lot of custom apps. So the map was customized. You know, there was no native, just expansion on two screens. It was, a lot of things just didn't work.
A lot of things. So I mean, we'll see. We'll see if with this new device, if they can get it to work in a way of maybe having one size phone, and then we need something bigger for whatever tablet mode, blah blah blah, phablet mode, whatever thing. Maybe they figure out a way to do that if the software works together with it. It just feels
Android has gotten smarter since then. I don't have concerns about that. It's just, but why?
The thing that makes me curious is the fact that it's only going to be
somebody's got to be different
than the Note 8 when it's folded. So I'm like, that's got to be interesting to see. A foldable device is still relatively.
I mean, see, my idea for a foldable device, I get it. If a foldable device can go from a Galaxy Note 8 to a tablet, right? I see the allure for that. Like, truly is foldable, so the display bends, and when you open it up, it becomes Westworld, where you remember those phones that it was a phone and then they stretch it out, it becomes a tablet. That's what I would like to see a foldable device do, where you can expand your screen size for need of use. But we're not there yet with screen technology in the first place, right?
But the thing I'm also concerned with is the specs here with it. An 820 with 4 gigabytes of RAM.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little
the 4 gigs of RAM. I mean, the 820, I think it's fine. It's the 4 gigs of RAM. I think. I mean, I don't think
it's both, because you have to engineer a product that with all of the extra stuff that goes into it, it's not going to be cheap.
True, but it's $650, so it's actually not that bad in terms of pricing for what they're trying to deliver.
But if I have to spend $650 on a mission-critical communications device that's going to live in my pocket and be my companion through all of my adventures, I can think of a lot of phones I'd rather spend $650 on.
I mean, what's up with this?
Especially phones with way more powerful chipsets, better cameras, better features, better.
Who says this 20-megapixel camera is not going to be like awe-inspiring?
Well, I would say my experience with Axon 7, it's a perfectly functional camera, and you can get great results out of it with some patience. But again, I could spend a lot less on something that will do the same or more in many arenas, is all I'm saying.
Okay, so it seems that a lot of people are not excited about this device, which is all of us here.
Well, it's not. I don't think people are not excited. I think people are just. I think people are just kind of wait and see and curious. So it's like, all right, they're doing something different here. Let's
And I'm
see
just
what this
really
different
hoping that
is.
this doesn't become a morbid curiosity. I want them to deliver something cool because I like ZTE. I want an Axon 8 fierce. This isn't the Axon 8. I want an Axon 8. Give me the Axon 8. Gimme, 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 gimme.
Well, we're getting
I just
something
don't understand
else.
who would want to get this. I really don't know what the use case is for this. And
Well, speaking of give me, Amazon is deciding to give us a lot of echoes, and
that was a good segue. I liked that. That was fun.
Thank you. I mean, you said it, and then Sam started talking. I was like, God damn it, man! I'm trying to like intersect right now.
We were making points. And,
Yeah.
Well, go ahead with your segue. Go ahead.
Yes. Amazon announced a bunch of echoes and a new Fire TV stick, or at least module. There's the new Echo, which is smaller and comes in multiple cloth-like colors and skins, if you will. There's the Echo Plus, which is the update to the original Echo. There is the Echo Spot, which is a nice little ball thing, in terms of look. And we have the Amazon Fire TV stick that now supports 4K HDR.
I don't think it's a stick.
Sorry, module that looks like.
I think it's just
Chrome.
I think it's just what the new Fire TV is. They didn't reference stick.
Yeah, the stick. I know I keep calling it stick. My bad, you're right.
Because it plugs in like the stick, but I think this is just the thing.
It's the new Fire TV. I'll show you guys images, but what do you guys think about it, Warren? What do you think about Amazon's,
damn echoes coming out? I don't know what's going on. They throwing echoes out there like they used to fire tablets. Like, here we go.
Yeah.
You get it. Is there going to be a 6-pack sold though? Please tell me there's going to be a 6-pack of Echo Dots sold. Oh my God!
You mean the Echo? Oh, the Echo Spot is the new one. This is it right here.
The thing is, I like whoa. I was just gonna get to that. I literally like the Echo shows. Get into that, Sam. Wait your turn, Sam.
I'm sorry. I was just like, my mind was a little boggled at the pricing on this.
Oh yeah, and I'm gonna get on the pricing. Just because you're here on time, Sam, doesn't mean you get to jump ahead. But yeah, like I was gonna say, I had the Echo Show for a little bit and I liked it, but my problem was the pricing on it was just more than what I wanted to spend for what type of device that it is. And I think it's a great way for an Echo. I think almost every Echo should have a display like that. I think it really adds to it. But to be able to visually see things as well as be able to voice them. But I saw the same thing with the Echo Spot, Echo Dot Spot, worse names. But I saw it. I was like, "Oh, that's pretty cool." Then like Sam, I saw that price and I was like, "It's still $129. This thing should be like $100, or $80 or somewhere around there." It's not like they can't afford it. They're Amazon. They could throw it out there. But when you look at the pricing, it's just like I don't quite like. And I'm assuming they're gonna want you to buy several of these dots to go with the show, so you have a show maybe in one big place like a living room or a kitchen, and then the spots all synchronized with some way around the house to give you that same sort of feel.
Here's the more interesting part of everything. I don't know. I'm not sure if this has been there for a while, but I know with the launch announcement, if you look at, you want to pick up any of these Echoes, Amazon now has listed monthly payments. I know they've had that with their card system, but this is, I think, the first time I've seen it listed under a product. Like, the price of the Echo Dot is $49.99, and it said 5 payments of $10, which I just find interesting that, they threw that out there, maybe because they know their pricing is a little bit slightly off center for most individuals, and saying, hey, you know what, you can do 5 payments of this at this amount and you get the device. I
don't get, like, there's an Echo, there's an all new 2nd generation Echo, and they made the new Echo Plus with a built-in hub with a Philips Hue bulb included. Why? Isn't that just the same thing?
So angry. Why are you so angry?
Because this is what we've been complaining about with Apple and their introducing this, but they did the same thing with their Fire tablets. It's just like, what? Like, they can't do this with the Fire TV sticks because there's only 2 options that you can really do with that. So they haven't been able to just make way too many decisions. You either get the regular or the gaming edition, whichever one of those you get, right? This has like, we have all these Echoes here. We're still pimping out the Echo Dot as the one that we want you to at least the entry level in. But we give you this Spot thing with the screen on, but we want you to pay $70 more to essentially get the same thing as an Echo Dot with a screen. That makes no sense in the way they're marketing that.
Well, I think Amazon's at a position now where Alexa they're trying to make sure that Alexa is everywhere, unlike our good friends at Microsoft.
It is everywhere. It's in Cortana too.
It's you've got a slew of devices. You now have Alexa coming to BMWs. I think the very next models is going to be coming to BMWs. You have Alexa in things like the Ecobee, other devices. You can make your own device and throw Alexa in there. So they're trying to have, I think the mindset is that we want to have a portfolio, and then also third-party portfolios that mixing.
We forgot something. That Echo Look. The one that like can see your outfits and all other crap.
Oh, that was announced way back, man. That's not good.
But it's just like, no, but I'm just saying all the Echoes here. They literally have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different devices.
There's one
directly
Echo Play thing that you can get 5 and have Echo games.
Why does that Echo Spot have a 2.5-inch screen?
Look,
because it's an Echo Dot with a screen, and they want you to pay $70 more to get it. I mean, that's exactly what it looks like.
I'm trying to understand what I'm getting here. If you get
and don't forget Amazon Tap.
Oh no, that's not an Echo.
But it's Alexa enabled. So how is it not an Echo? Like,
I can see the Echo Plus being a big seller.
So I mean, with all of these things, because we've been sort of pointing to,
if the Echo Plus is around, the regular Echo shouldn't exist. It shouldn't be a plus.
Right, but what I mean is, does this now start to strike us as a company that stumbled into some success and they didn't really have a true vision of what to do if these things took off? This is just like their cloud business. Apple for having 5 different iPhones this year. You're starting to make a flea market out of the Echo brand or the Alexa enabled brand or ecosystem. Does this really fulfill consumer demands? Like, were there really market niches that I would totally buy an Alexa enabled product if it came in a form factor reminiscent of a stick of gum? Was that what they really determined? Or is this now, let's spread and shotgun blast as much stuff as we can and hope that more things stick?
See, well, it's very simple. I think they made a slightly flawed mistake here. To me, I think what they should have done is refresh the Echo Dot and price it at $39.99.
No, they should phase it out.
The Echo Dot is
phase it out and have
the Spot should be
the Dot
perfect.
The
Dot is perfect at that.
The Dot is the highest selling Echo. Do not phase that out. Do not. No.
I'm not saying don't sell it anymore. I'm just saying stop manufacturing later on and start pushing the Echo Spot.
No.
It's great to have the video.
No. Keep the Dot because it sells. It is the easiest thing to.
Why don't you just call it Echo Dot with video?
Yeah.
Yeah, you call it Echo Dot with video. You make that 75.
This is fine. A lot for $75.
It will.
Yeah, and then you keep.
Sam sees it. I see it.
You call your Echo Plus at $99, and you take away the regular.
There's no Echo Plus.
No. The Echo Plus. I can see the Echo and the Echo Plus. Why they did it? The Echo is for I have a Samsung hub. I don't want to have to buy another device that's a hub. I'll get the Echo. But if I don't have a hub, Echo Plus is perfect. I see those 2 devices. Just the Echo Dot and Spot. It's like.
But if you already have a hub, can't you just deactivate the hub that's within the speaker anyways if you don't want to use it?
But it's a product you have.
But it just doesn't make sense to have.
It's a product without. No, it does make sense. It's some people may just not want to in the first place, and that's why you have that differentiation.
But you should be able to deactivate and activate that hub whenever you want to if you want to use.
Which company lets you? Verizon does not let you deactivate their goddamn.
But
what I'm saying, that's what Amazon should allow you to do it. Well, let's not talk about. I'm talking about that's what Amazon should allow you to do in here.
So the problem here, right, is right now to get a Philips Hue bulb to work with Amazon Echo or Dot, it's like you need your Philips Hue hub to connect to your Samsung hub to connect to your
No. The Hue Hub now connects directly to Alexa.
Well, but if you have other bulbs that aren't Philips Hue compatible, then you need the Samsung Hub. And if you wanted to connect to your Sonos or your TV, you need the Samsung Hub. So it's like 3 devices.
This is why I'm waiting all this shit out for this thing to sort itself out. Because literally, this smart homes, Amazon Alexa, you can need one of those calculators that you see. If you ever use Amazon Web Services and try to figure out your billing, you got to use one of those big ass calculators. That's what this is turning into, to figure out not only what Alexa Echo thing, but to try to figure out what smart device works with what. At this point, wait it out. Wait it out. Let them battle.
Just get Samsung smart things.
Just wait it out and see who wins. It's just like HD DVD versus DVD versus Blu-ray. Let's see who wins that one.
See, I think it's not as simple as that with this case, because with IoT, there are very little things that companies cover. So, for instance, like Nest
security, but anyways,
but Nest came out with its whole slew of things. And it looked really good. They made the announcement this week, but there are also little things that they don't cover light bulbs. Even if you wanted to go with a Nest system, right? They don't have light bulbs in their portfolio. They have a lock. They have this. So in that case, you now go, I still need a light bulb that fits into this ecosystem, and that's the problem you have. That's why I said I love smart things, because when Samsung bought that company, the company says we take whatever format you have. Yeah. You can buy the cheapest $10 bulb, or you can buy a Philips Hue that costs much more. It works on the system.
It'd be interesting to see the software that unifies all of this, if they actually start working a lot better with.
It'll probably just be Samsung versus Apple. Let's be real here. It's just going to be Samsung versus Apple
like
with Google hanging around, and that's it. Samsung versus Apple with Google hanging around, and Microsoft pretending to give a damn about this, and they'll show something at every event, but we'll never see it actually happen in public. That's exactly what's going to happen with this.
Let's keep Microsoft out of this conversation this week.
Yeah, we know exactly how
we know the pitfalls that we run into that. Speaking of Google, though, Google has added Google Assistants to Android TV.
Nobody cares. Moving on.
If you're a user of the NVIDIA Shield, you can use that, which is still, I think, the best smart TV hub service you want to get, that gives you a lot of features.
Yeah,
also runs very well. So,
and as long as I think that can work with any codec, doesn't have to transcode or anything like that, and you can rely on it to be furtherly updated, unlike an Xbox and their media features. Let me not get started on that, because just bring it back Microsoft.
Yeah, exactly. Just keep out this week. Just keep it out this week.
Yeah, it'll make its way in. It's just tradition.
All right. So, anything else other than Microsoft? Because we are at the end of our topic.
This is very similar to Fire, to how the Fire Amazon Fire works, right? You use the microphone to talk to the device. That's what it's saying. It's gonna be enabled through the remote, the microphone on the remote.
So, you mean the Google Assistant?
Yeah.
It's exactly the same way. Which is, sorry, I was about to make a mention of Microsoft to get an Cortana, and the Xbox, but never mind.
No, Amazon Fire is one that does that pretty well, I think. And the Samsung TVs have a little bit of that feature.
The one thing I wanted to mention about Apple TV in this conversation is I would give Apple props for the fact that I can dictate my password while logging into that. Yeah, literally, it goes, when you're trying to load in your accounts for any of the services, whether it's Netflix, and I'll just start spelling out my my email, and I spell out the password. I would like capital B, boom, number 5, whatever it is, asterisk,
is that
whatever.
Faster than just using the remote, pointing and clicking?
It's faster than typing out on any keyboard I don't even care what keyboard you have, because it spells that. You can spell fast and go BAFGIY, and it would just capital this done. I'm like, oh, sweet. I don't have to start moving around and moving left, going up and down, because it's not a real keyboard. It's not like you're actually typing. You're going one letter at a time. So I just give them props for that, because that actually worked out very well. Just wanted to throw that out there.
Anybody play Cuphead yet? And any questions in the chat, by the way?
Cuphead, yes.
I need to play that. I need to buy it.
That game is on point beyond belief, and bloody old school hard. I just tell you that much. It is. I mean, play it on normal. Don't try and feel like some kind of pro. Yeah,
try and play a game.
I mean, it's got 20 bosses. The boss fights are almost like a level on its own because they go through stages. It's very old school. It's got that Steamboat Willie design.
The animation style is insane.
1930s, yeah.
The music, I got a chance to talk to one of the developers. The music is all original stuff, all jazz. They got a full jazz band, and they recorded all original jazz music for Cuphead itself. So the music sounds really good. If you like jazz, you really love just playing it because it gets uppity, you know, at certain times, kind of cools down. It's a solid game. I mean, it's one of those games that you will die, you get pissed, you come back again, you beat the boss. I'll tell people this: you can play 2-player. It's easier to beat the boss, but also harder at the same time because the game mechanics work in a certain way where it definitely understands that the 2 people are playing and tries to stomp you as much as possible. So it's not one of those games where you go like, "Oh, we got 2 people now. I'm cool. I'm good." Nah, it will mess with you that way. So it's definitely, look, if you want a game on the Xbox One to pick up, I mean, this is absolutely a fun game to definitely pick up. It's on point. It's like, I think it's like $20 or so. So, you know, definitely worth it. Definitely worth it.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Any questions in the chat? Anybody want to rant?
I don't know.
I don't see it.
No,
Nobody's ranting?
Oh, yeah. And also, if you're a racing fan, Forza 7, beautiful, man. Love it. Great.
Actually, I don't know how much time is left, but the original Fallout is free on Steam, I think, through this afternoon. I mean, like the very original old school, like top-down adventure RPG kind of, you know, built the whole genre.
God, it's 20 years old? No.
Yes.
I played it when it was originally launched, man. I'm starting to feel my age, but
yes.
I mean, like, even if you never do it, just add it to your library. Go do it now.
Yeah,
because I think this afternoon they're going to pull it.
That is amazing. Man, we're old, man.
Yeah, we are.
I don't know what you're talking about. We're not old. We're just young in spirit.
I'm looking at the Xbox. Somebody told me to go with Xbox One Insider program. I thought something new got announced. I haven't seen anything new in terms of new things they're doing outside of the gaming gift thing, but that's nice to do that digitally. You can just give people a gift card or give them the cash or PayPal or any of the other ways to do that. But
no, I haven't heard anything on that. I know the new dashboard is being to roll out to some people in beta.
Well, some people said, I thought they said there wasn't a new dashboard coming.
There is a new dashboard out for beta right now. I think it's going to come either after the Xbox One X launches, or at least beginning of next year. It's still in like early beta, so it's going to be out later on. So there's new.
Is there any images of it?
No. They've changed the beta program.
Oh, I think I just found a video on it.
Oh, okay.
So
yeah, they've changed it. Before, if you were in the beta program, you get it. Now it depends on how much interactivity you do on your Xbox.
Yeah.
So if you game or play a lot, you get it faster because, of course, you're always using the system.
Well, I watch TV through it. It should give me everything.
which actually makes sense.
Give me all the things. I still use a Kinect, okay? Give me all the damn things.
Oh, wow. You still use the Kinect?
Because I pay for that damn thing. That's why I still use it. I don't give a damn to click the port away. I don't give a damn to the port away. I still, and you know what? Not only do I use a Kinect, I use the original Kinect command. Fuck Cortana. I do not want to use her. She was terrible on the Xbox.
Yeah.
Say a command, wait for her to search for it, and then try to do the wrong command. It was just the worst idea of all ideas to be possibly done.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think that's pretty much it. I don't think we have anything else we want to cover this week.
I think we're just stretching now. I think we can.
I was just waiting for people from the chat if they had anything, but I guess we can go ahead and wrap up.
Yeah. So we've got to that part of the show where we talk about what we have. What we have on the channel and what you can expect next week. Starting off with Mr. Juan Bagnell. What's on the channels?
So on Pocket now, we have a couple iPhone 8 videos out there. Just last night, I published an iPhone 8 versus Note 8 comparison, and you know, for some of our concerns over the Note 8 price tag, it actually competes really handily against less expensive phones when you really look at all the things that you get. For Gadget Guy, last night we also had the third episode of our Geek Book Club. We talked about an amazing science fiction novel called The Three Body Problems. You guys want to check that out if you're into reading stuff. And this afternoon, we'll publish another recovered episode of Movies You May Have Missed. I found our review of Igby Goes Down, which is sort of a Catcher in the Rye kind of story with an amazing cast. And Jeff Goldblum is a sexy, sexy dude. So you'll want to catch that over on vid.me.
Warren.
Stuff and stuff. No, well, I have iPhone stuff up. That's all that's going on. More rants about the iPhone, iOS. Currently up now. I think the last thing I have up is the unboxing. I've been mostly ranting on social media about some of the uselessness of iOS, and there will be a video talking about a lot of the uselessness that happens in iOS that, quite frankly, I think iPhone users don't use anything else. That's why they don't see these things as glaring problems, because there are clearly some really glaring problems. A couple of examples are camera settings not being within the camera app itself, or the fact of notifications don't group together. 2017. If you get 15 Instagram notifications, you're gonna see each one of those 15 Instagram notifications.
Yeah.
My God. Oh, and then you have a control center, you swipe up, and if you want to tap to get in deeper settings, good luck trying to do that, because you got to close that out and go into settings to go anything deeper. Let's say you want to change Wi-Fi. You can't do it there. All you can do is turn Wi-Fi on and off. I mean, God, good God almighty, there are just some I don't understand. Like, how it's supposed to be the most powerful, robust operating system of all the times and worth all the monies, and it's 11 iterations in, and it still doesn't do certain things that are just beyond stupid.
All right.
Anyways,
Sam, anything from you?
Nothing really. We're still doing the bed stuff, and then I have the camera stuff I need to put up.
Yeah. On the channel in general, we have couple reviews. Daniel dropped his SteelSeries Apex M70 mechanical keyboard. If you like RGB lighting on your keyboard, this thing you can do GIFs on your keyboard. You can do a lot of stuff on there. So that's
memes.
Yeah, I mean, as long as it's an image, you can transfer it over to keyboard. So we also had our review of the Hisense H9 Smart TV. It's a budget price 4K HDR TV. So if you're looking for something like that, definitely check it out. We've got our Samsung soundbar. It's an MS750. Really good soundbar, well priced. Competes well with the higher end soundbars that are usually like $1,000. This is actually, I would say mid-priced, around that $500-600 price range. It does really well. I think something you guys should check out. We have our OnePlus 5 3-month review. I know a lot of people are, asking me why I don't like it that much. I just really did not, because they promised me the world and it gave me OnePlus 5. So
there's a lot of reasons not to like that thing.
But, definitely check it out. Leave your thoughts if you disagree with me. And then we have our show Superhero Hour is now moved to Mondays, 9 p.m. We did our review of Star Trek Discovery, episode 1 and 2. We'll be doing weekly reviews of Star Trek Discovery come this Monday. So join us if you want to talk about that and other superhero and comic news on that. And for next week, I have one video I think I'm going to do, because I just saw David the Unlocker drop his, you should buy the iPhone 10 over the iPhone 8, and I think that's complete trash. So I am going to basically destroy him in the video. So.
Smackdown.
Drama.
Wow.
Yeah, he isn't Danny. He isn't Danny getting into Twitter beefs all the time.
Yeah, so so that's gonna be it. Anyway, guys, thank you very much for watching. All the comments in the chat. We appreciate you guys joining us every week. and leaving comments. No, Buddha, no Inhumans. I am not going to cover that show.
That should not be inflicted on
There's
anyone.
no way we're doing
This show's on.
It's I think it's
That's-
on this weekend.
Oh, but they've got a giant CG dog. Oh.
And
I haven't seen it. I'm so backwards on TV that I forget that it still comes. Everything premieres in September.
Yeah,
So
no,
I'm so used to just going to see things whenever the hell I want to see them. So
no,
I totally forgot about that.
Eric, no, we're not adding any humans. You know what? We can mention it.
Is
and
it
that's
that bad?
pretty much it.
I mean, all I've seen are some of the promos and trailers, and it looks pretty terrible. I know a lot of people bandwagon jumped on like saying it's like the worst thing ever, but I haven't seen anything that makes
It doesn't look good from the promos and trailers.
It really doesn't. And if those are the
the trailers didn't look good at all.
Look good. This looks terrible.
Yeah.
If you know the story behind the production, you kind of give it a little bit of a leeway. But I don't.
Dude, I know the story behind the production of Iron Fist, and it still was crap.
Yeah,
Well,
man.
and then also, isn't it the same guy? Isn't it the same guy who did Iron Fist was sort of in charge of doing this abortive IMAX?
Yeah,
But the IMAX showing actually made quite a bit of money,
Yeah.
surprisingly. So
I heard that. I mean, considering what it costs to shoot on IMAX, and that you're actually you have to develop IMAX prints that while it grossed money, it lost a ton. Considering how expensive
I don't think they were trying to make money for the IMAX stuff. I think this is something they did in 6 weeks, from start to finish. So it's like it was not going to be great anyway.
What was this?
Inhumans.
Inhumans. I think it took 6 weeks. I think they said
6 weeks to record a whole season.
Yeah, not even a whole season. It's like what, 5 episodes? How many?
Yeah,
episodes?
So they recorded what the studio bought, right? They bought like 5 episodes, whatever the hell they ordered.
Yeah, they covered.
Usually they order 5, right?
Yeah, they covered.
Okay.
Yeah.
And is that bad?
Look, like I said, we haven't watched it. Just the trailers alone have given it zero confidence across the board.
Yeah, the trailers, and I think I saw maybe one trailer.
Just like X-Men, The Gifted, wherever on Fox, that is supposed to be another Brian Singer abortion. I'm sorry, it's just I can't.
They need to stop with these alternative. We can't quite do this the full way type shows. People see through that shit now. Just give us the full thing.
And the worst one there, before we sign out, is Gotham, because now young Bruce Wayne at 15 is wearing a costume and fighting crime like a cat burglar.
I told you guys from the very beginning they don't have Gotham. They introduced actual canon villains way too early, and there was no place for them to go until this kid grew up, unless they wanted to do a flash forward 20 years. They were completely stuck. This show has completely lost the plot.
It was supposed to be about Gordon. It was supposed to be about
Gordon.
They forgot that.
And why do I care about Gordon enough for them to
was
be a television
great.
series?
No, the show handled well. The first 5 to 7 episodes was Gordon, Penguin, a younger Penguin, and then Fish Mooney, which is a creative character.
Fish Mooney was perfect because she was like a proto Batman villain. Before Batman actually really does pop the cork on crazy in Gotham, she was like right on the edge of what a Batman villain should be. And that's the perfect foil for a young Detective Gordon. That show I was signed up for.
How is Penguin
after 5 episodes? They just went. The train completely jumped the track.
Because Penguin is older than Batman. I mean, the original.
I understand that, but how is he above ground?
Well, it's explaining where he came from, and he had a legit sort of old school crime connection before he went underground. That again, I felt that was that was appropriate.
But they've changed that a couple of times, haven't they?
The show is completely stuck by the fact that you're telling a Batman story in a world long before Batman can really exist. You literally have no story to tell after about 6 episodes. This only should have been a miniseries.
Well, if you look at it from Gordon's perspective, this guy is living in a world where almost every single cop is a criminal. It would be really nice to see how he navigates that. The one good cop in a department full of basically bad guys. That would have been awesome.
And actually, the more you talk about it, the more this show should have been like The Shield.
Yeah, exactly. It should have been a lot like the Shield.
Yeah, exactly. That's definitely right. But they threw in everybody. I mean, BJ Gray 7 says, yeah, but Gotham's still getting renewed. It's getting views. So giving Human a chance. No.
India, Delta, the Shield.
I'm not gonna like, you know, try and piss all over a show's success, and I want those actors working because the cast is phenomenal. But this is the same thing that I start to fall out of like other types of dramas. You know, a show like Scandal starts out as this really compelling idea of fixers in Washington, D.C.
and 2, and then after that,
and then they don't have an end game. They don't have a season storyline in place, and by the time you get to like a season 3, the characters are completely don't resemble the show that you started with. Everything is so hyperbolic and melodramatic and way over the top, and they're doing outlandish things just for the sake of doing outlandish things. You can keep an audience going week to week on OMG was so crazy pants hashtag, but that's not compelling storytelling. That's not interesting. Anyone who is a fan of this material, like a Batman Year One style story about Jim Gordon, that's not what we're getting. No, fuck off.
I think that's the difference and a problem between a television show that has to be on network TV essentially for free and a show that's on a Netflix, Amazon, HBO, or some type of premium channel that actually can have an end game to itself, because they are limited to the number of seasons that they can do. So they put a little bit more of value in each episode. So they put a little bit more money in what they're doing because they're not planning to go for 7 or 8 seasons. They're planning to go for
I think also like
3
the
or
British
4
mentality. Like a British show, if it lasts 3 seasons, is kind of a big deal because no one wants to be stuck on a property for 3 years.
Yeah. No, I think all these
3 episodes.
Yeah, I think all these shows need to understand, like, the one place I think they need it is you take the CW you have the whole superhero lineup, you cut it down to 13 episodes. You can rotate that throughout the whole year, and you have 13 concise episodes of Flash, Arrow, Legends, Supergirl, all that kind of stuff. And you will have very compelling stories. Not where you watch the Flash, you're like 5 episodes are great, and next minute you're like, why did
filler,
like
filler,
5 episodes
filler,
are amazing, and then 2 episodes are like marking time. 1 episode's a musical. There's the Christmas special, and then it gets back into the story.
Yeah,
it's almost like they have like old school.
It's Naruto Shippuden all over again.
It's almost like they have old school family TV show producers producing these episodes and making them work
and instead what I want them to do is approach a character that I have such reverence for with the same consideration as, say, a Better Call Saul. You know, like that show totally could have been derivative. It totally could have been just, you know, a cash grab off of
bad.
I keep waiting for it to get bad, and it keeps getting better. What I want it to be, and you really have a sense that the creator
it's on AMC, right, which is essentially kind of I don't want to say it's a premium channel. You can get it for free, but it's not a network television show.
Why can't network look at the success?
Because network can only do one thing good, and that is family comedy shows. That's the one thing they can do good.
And AMC.
If it doesn't follow that format, there isn't an ending required until they finally make an ending for it. They can't go ahead and do it. It's just,
well, I mean, I think they can. So my little example from this last season, it did have a few quirky episodes, but I liked Designated Survivor. I thought,
actually, Designated Survivor has had more winning moments than.
Well, I mean, not the whole thing, because again, it's 23.
I'm just saying over the whole.
I kind of feel like TV shows, this whole thing. I kind of feel like networks like USA have always kind of done well with being able to take some random A show make so many episodes of it. If it flops, it flops. If it continues, they space it out in a way that it could continue to be successful at whatever it's doing.
That's true.
And they did that with Psych. They did that with Royal Pains. They did that with
you know what's kind of funny,
what's the one with the detective? I can't remember it. Burn Notice. They did that with Burn Notice.
So I'm glad you brought that up, because
they're doing that with Mr. Robot now.
Because they have had this amazing track record, though, but every single time they get to the end season, their shows jump the tracks.
Oh yeah, no.
Like the last season is completely unrecognizable, even from the season that came before it.
I think you
Suits,
do that
you're like,
on
let's throw the
purpose.
kid in jail and still have another season of
What show?
Suits.
Oh yeah,
Jumped.
Suits. Yeah,
Suits jumped the shark right after like.
and he now is a lawyer
still-
again. I mean, like, come on, really?
But-
What the hell?
Because the thing is, the show isn't interesting about him anymore. It's everyone else that's more interesting than
Okay,
him.
let's just
What's more interesting is watching like Lewis Lit, and
Lit.
like and the rest of the characters doing their
Let me
thing.
tell you about
Not so much
Suits,
him.
right?
In like
The
a
main
Better Call
character
Saul
is
kind of way,
Suits.
I want to see a Lewis Lit spinoff.
Yeah, he
I want to
deserves
watch
his
the
own
show.
spin-off.
You might as well just make the show about him now.
But him.
Yeah,
But he's
I
the
will
most
say
compelling
that-
character.
totally.
I love the fact when what's her name was on the show. She's no longer on the show, and she's getting a spin-off as well. The Lawrence Fishburne's ex-wife. Damn it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
just
she's
like,
on the show. She's on the show. She just
She's
moved to
just not,
Chicago.
No, she's getting a spin-off, and they're doing that, I think, come next year
Yeah.
of her in Chicago. But she played that strong Black woman in an office setting that she will come out nice and smiling, but do not mess with her at all, because she would just chew you up. And I liked her juxtaposition with her main guy. I can't remember his name.
Harvey Spencer.
Harvey.
Yeah.
I hate the main kid, man, because for somebody who's lying all the time, he has this self-righteousness.
Well, the
about
problem
doing the right
was
thing.
the whole jail thing was the problem. Because if they had not, if he was still lying to this day, it would have kept him an interesting character. Once that all surpassed, now the characters that are more interesting is honestly Harvey and Lewis.
Lewis, yeah, exactly.
And now they
Never
added
watched the show.
what's his name?
So I've never watched the show, but I find this conversation interesting. Go ahead.
It's an interesting show.
No, see, Harvey comes to me. I like Harvey the best because he comes over the guy who
Harvey
understands that, look, this is life. This is what you need to do. Stop whining and move forward.
But the funny thing, in all the episodes now are Harvey getting mad at everything.
Yeah.
Then the moral clause
the
finally
show-
hits where Harvey realizes he's wrong. And then he spent the second half of the episode apologizing, and then
The
Lit is
show-
lit.
The show
Rachel's
has
there to be
become-
pretty, and then Lit is lit. I swear, but it's a mess, but it works.
But the show has become a complete parody of itself, and this is exactly what I mean by
true.
Endgame. Even if
Yeah.
you execute, so
should have ended in 2
USA
seasons,
is
though.
able to do this for seasons, like 4 or
Yeah.
5 solid seasons of TV, and then it all falls apart. Why is it that network can only do this for about 5 episodes before it all falls apart? I don't get it.
It's advertising. Advertising is what's killing them, because they're like, okay, we have to make something that catches people's interest, and then we can just coast it and just sell
No,
advertising.
what network should do is what USA did with The Sinner. Where The Sinner was not a full-on blown season of a show. It was actually just a 6-episode network special that they stretched out. And it was smart because the story was good, but you could tell if they had stretched itself further than what it could have been, further than what it was, it would have been not a very good show to watch.
But you know, the
It hurt
funny thing
itself.
about networks is this: it's very simple. They are very built in the mechanism that they should have. Is your first season is from September till December, done. Call that season 1,
Yeah.
and then move the storyline to season 2 when you come back after the holiday break, and that's season 2.
Yeah, I mean,
But just keep your stories concise to that season.
Yeah.
And then, have your, because already we think of it now as like, some people watch shows and go, I thought that was season 2. Like, no, it's called Christmas break.
Yeah.
And then you come back and you watch another, so you might as well just break into 2 seasons.
But that's what they used to do with TV shows. They used to not do. It was one season. You knew there was one season, but they would always advertise like a holiday special or a mid-year ending. They would have some cliffhanger that would last perfectly around your Christmas break for if you were in school around time in America, between when you're out and then when you got back to school, maybe just about either before or after the Super Bowl. That next season, that same season would kind of start up again. The second half would start up again, then wrapping itself up in May. They used to do that very perfectly. I think On Demand kind of screwed that whole thing up for them, where they don't know how to function in that world. Although I think they should have never changed it. They should have kept it going the same exact way, because that's the way people would have functioned. I mean, I think eventually that's what a lot of these places like Netflix and them are going to do, like what Netflix did with The Get Down as an example, but of a show that can last longer, where they have to do a first half and a second half.
That was expensive.
It was expensive. Well, it was expensive, but the whole thing is it should be a first half and a second half instead of just dumping everything all into one
my
thing.
heart that they couldn't keep that show going.
Yeah.
It was an amazing show.
It could always come back. It's not like it's done. It's not
was $100 million for a season. I mean, it wasn't justified when you do 3 episodes and it's $100 million. Like even Netflix can't.
Yeah, that was rough for them.
That puts it on the level of
Marco Polo.
Not even just Marco Polo. You look at how much you're going to be spending on episodes for the last season of Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
That puts it above that level because it's 15 million an episode.
So,
so it's like, come on.
Yeah, you can't.
3 episodes costing you 100 million. HBO is not even putting out that kind of money on their biggest hit. So
well, something like The Get Down should have been mini movie type things where there's 4 episodes a year, or whatever.
Yeah, but it was 3 episodes.
Just think about how bold the pilot was. With
there was 6 episodes, I think, per.
No, the last season was 3 episodes.
Yeah, they cut that. The last season they cut.
But it was still 100 mil for that.
But I mean, think about how bold just the pilot was. The pilot was a film. It was a full movie. Baz Luhrmann directed. I mean, like. That's
audio
bold, and then to continue telling the story episodically was.
But
insane.
I think that's the problem. I think they should have spaced out how the episode.
Totally agree.
Story.
Yeah,
where a 2-hour episode per quarter probably would have done them better than trying to make.
That actually would have
been. Them trying to do that. That's my thing. There's other ways to tell stories out there, like they do, like I was talking about the miniseries stuff, and being able to do half one part and half the next part. There's a way to do this to, one, control how much people get of content so they don't get too overblown with content, and then 2, control your costs in a way where you can film enough that you can mitigate your spending instead of having to spend on 6 episodes. There's so many different ways to do this on time. With on demand and internet today, people will watch whenever the hell they feel like it. So let them watch whenever they feel like it. You take advantage of that. You don't have to work in the television spectrum of seasons and stuff like that.
No, I mean, that's definitely true. I think it will be interesting to see once Stranger Things and The Punisher hit next month, October. Punisher, they're trying to play us and not give us an exact date of when. I think The Punisher would probably be the best out of all the shows because there's no superpowers involved. They can write a tighter story than any. I mean,
and I'm hoping that they actually hold to that. What I'm tired of is Daredevil technically doesn't have any superpowers, but he can be punched in the head with shotgun butts like 10 times an episode and be like totally fine.
No brain damage here. Let's keep going.
Well, no, he doesn't get. They missed the bullets on him. He doesn't get hit with the bullets. He gets
no.
in the head.
I don't mean getting shot. I mean, like, you could take the butt of a rifle and crack him in the head like 10 times, and he's fine. He just needs to like kind of walk it off. And,
well, we don't know what we don't know if that the little mutagen
no, there's no mutagen in that sector of things.
Well, we don't know what that did because remember that same
created the Ninja Turtles. You're right.
But also in that story, remember that same goo is what apparently gave Jessica Jones her powers.
Yeah,
remember
you're right.
That's the same goo
level of,
and that's the same goo that gave Luke Cage his powers. So there could be something to that. That could be
Warner
writers.
We don't need to. Yeah,
what is Marvel about? The fucking super soldier serum. It's very easy to figure out the plot of anyone's thing. Everything goes back to that super serum until we get over Infinity Wars. Well, it'll all change up. Everything right now is about that.
Infinity Wars is shot. Both of them are shot entirely on IMAX.
Oh, I'm so stoked for that.
Being shot in, which is why they were like the cost of that movie is high. And then Avatar sequel is budgeted at $1 billion for all 4 Avatar movies.
Why?
Oh my God! I was thinking the other one, the M. Night Shyamalan.
No, not the M. Night Shyamalan one.
Why are they doing this again?
No, don't speak of that. Don't speak of that. Ruin my damn avatar.
Yeah, no, but that movie has been known, at least at least the first one is known for basically breaking records. So $1 billion
It's still the highest grossing movie ever.
Yes, it's still there's some kind of method to that madness.
Well, the thing is, James Cameron says he has
I still haven't seen Avatar yet.
He has some new tech he wants to show off, which is what he always does. Yep. If you look at his movie track record, it's usually like that, and we'll see. Yeah. We'll see if that applies. To
Roland, I was about to say that. Except I was about to say that, Roland Collins. I was saying everybody's related to Super Samurai except Spider-Man. He's the only one that does not relate to that.
No, adverse. He's basically almost related to it because the reason they created what's
because of the Super
Serum was because he was trying to build a Super Serum that actually turned him into the Goblin that actually made the Spider. Spider-Man. So yeah, Super Serum. Sorry.
Well, no. There's a separation there because the goblin stuff didn't happen until after he had already had the powers. When they tried to jump remember because they were building the suit.
It's still retcon.
We
can retcon it.
But it's a super serum kind of connection to Spider-Man.
All right, guys. We've merged the shows into Superhero Hour / the weekly. For you guys here, but join us on Monday.
Powers combined.
We'll talk more about all this stuff there. Thank you very much, guys. Definitely check out all the channels. You can check out Mr. Juan Bagnell. He is at Pocket now, with, of course, the mobile videos there, as well as his personal channel, Some Gadget Guy, on YouTube. You can also follow him on Twitter at Some Gadget Guy, and also his VidMe channel. It is Juan Bagnell. You can find all his old and classic movie review.
Yeah, the hairstyle is back to the roguish, sort of fluffy, lots of.
Don't be fooled, man. Mr. Juan Bagnell has a lot of hair.
Used to.
I know.
Have a lot of hair.
And of course, Mr. Warren Bowman from BW1.com. You can check him out there on YouTube. Also on Instagram and Twitter, his handles are both BW1.com. Follow him there and check out all his content. Mr. Sam, aka Black Iron _man. Yes, that is his handle on Twitter. He's part of the Booredatwork network. And you can follow us at Booredatwork on YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram. All same handles. It's just Booredatwork. Thank you very much, guys. And always enjoy your entertainment.
Bam.